coming back for 5 seconds on that one. I've gotten that so much in the past, like, 6 months lately.
Welcome to the team, Stephen. The team of being British. Go grab a cup of tea.
If everyone can do me a favor and ping Steven in the chat and wish him a happy birthday, that would be wonderful.
I don't know if you just felt that.
I felt the wrath coming your way, Cam.
I may or may not have kicked him off the stage before he could say anything.
Oh, I see you, Jesse. Jesse!
Hello. We're going to see if this thing works. I've been trying to set something up last second, so... Yes, you can see me! Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Discord Q&A. We've done these before, but for our first time ever, we're going to be doing this with our game director, Brad B., who will be joining us shortly. He is in the chat. I need him to click join the stage at the bottom of his Discord screen. I'm also going to open the chat.
Very good idea. Everyone's saying hi, Jesse.
Yeah, hey everyone. How's it going? Hey Mama. Hey Rouse. Hey everyone. Have you done a last minute ping and announcements, Helen? You might want to be like, hey, it's starting. Get yourself over here.
It auto pings, so it's pinged everyone.
I'm just going to let Brad know how to join.
Yes. Invite to speak.
I did not see that ping, so it might be good to do a manual ping.
Again.
Hello, I made it.
Brad.
Welcome.
Someone kindly added me up here, so I didn't have to find the button because someone made the button pop up for me.
So for anyone who's been around for quite some time, from like when I started, Brad's role here is very similar to a guy you might remember called Josh or Tactful. He works basically every day with Bethink and Newfissy to decide what Adopt Me's gonna be. Yeah, you know, the team gets together, we do a lot of work collaboratively, but ultimately Newfissy, Bethink, and Brad here are the ones who say, this is the update, these are the pets. He is as in charge as he can be of the future of Adopt Me, which is really exciting to have him here in front of you. He's been here for a while now. This is not new, but this is the first time we've dragged him onto a camera in front of everyone. So yeah, we've been collecting questions from you for the past couple of weeks now, probably even longer than that. I've got them all in a big document. We're not going to get to all of them, like every single question. You sent hundreds, and we don't have all that much time. Brad has a family, and they do want to see him on a Friday evening. But we're going to get to some of the biggest questions, some of the ones we're really excited to answer, some of the ones you asked a lot. We're going to try our best to give you as much of an answer as we can. And hopefully, Brad has a great time. You're all very nice to him, and we get to do some of these again maybe next year. How are you feeling, Brad? Are you confident? You nervous?
Feeling great. I'm super excited. This has been something that I think I've wanted to do for a while, to be able to kind of jump in, chat with the community, and just you know, I think I spend so much time inside of the Discord reading everything, all the feedback center, the starboard, and everything. So it's really cool to be able to actually just jump in here, talk, introduce myself, and just do all this. So yeah, very excited.
Amazing.
Maybe a little nervous too. There's a lot of people in here now, so maybe a little nervous.
Okay, we've grouped the questions together into a bunch of categories, and I think, given your time constraints, I think we should get going. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to go down the list of questions one by one. I'm going to read them to Brad, and Brad is going to do his best to answer them. And we will see if we trap him into revealing more than he intends to, which is always my favorite part of every Q&A. Every single time I've accidentally leaked something, now it's someone else's turn.
I'm sure it's coming. It's coming for me.
So we're going to start with the really common stuff. These are like general game questions. These are ones I get asked a lot and I've answered before. So it'd be really interesting to see if my thoughts around this align with yours. Our first question of this Q&A. Brad, will you ever replace the current map with a brand new one?
Well, at least it's a semi-easy one. So right now, I think we don't have any plans to change the map that we have out there right now. I think that it's been designed so well, as a place where you can get from point A to point B on a pretty quick basis, and ultimately things are all in the right positions for it. But I think, as everyone will see as we start getting into Halloween and everything else, we are looking to try to make more use of the map and keep it fun and engaging, and put some surprises into there, and not just kind of rest on the same old same old. And I think we even saw a little bit of that coming with the ocean, where you could see part of Sean's UFO broken off into the ocean. So yeah, we're trying to play around with it a little bit more.
Yep, we've just had our latest play as we've added in our first Halloween location, not our last. There's going to be more changes to the map coming, so keep your eyes on that one. And speaking of Halloween, if you want to hear some more about Halloween, stick around to the very end. We've got something exciting to share with you. So even if you're not that interested in all our answers, maybe it's worth just keeping this open and seeing what we've got to say as we get closer to the end. But let's keep moving. Would you add an option to control your daylight to make it a build?
Yeah, this is something I think that we actually have been talking over, and I know like there have been questions. I know we'll get to them a little bit later about how do we decide what we're going to work on. But this is one of those ones that's inside of kind of our list to say, could we do this? Is this something that we can pull off to allow switching day night and different ambient settings and that sort of thing. So we're looking into it. Nothing on the immediate plan to pull it in, but definitely trying to see, is it technically feasible for us to pull off? Because we've heard the requests there and think we could do something cool. I mean, imagine seeing, so many great Halloween houses. Could we make some of those things, have some darkness, maybe some storms? Like those are the things I want to see with it. So we're definitely talking it over.
Awesome. Speaking of, talking about updates, how far in advance do you plan updates, and how far in advance are they ready to launch?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know, Jesse, you're involved in all of it too. I think
Yeah.
we're probably about 6 months out, typically, about trying to say, here's what we're seeing for the next 6 months here. And then I think they start to really become real around that 3 month point. We're like, okay, everyone's kind of kicking off and we're really making all this stuff happen and come to life. And we normally will be working on those updates until probably about 2 weeks before, where we say we're kind of in that almost lockdown point for us to get it ready to push out to everyone. So I think that's kind of our typical schedule and cadence that we hit for them.
Yep.
I think ultimately we never want to get too far out ahead, right? We want to make sure we've got time to read the responses and to see, how are people liking the updates that we're putting in, and we don't want to, overcommit to something before we kind of see how people are feeling about it. So
yeah, and I'll say with our 6 month plan, even that changes a lot. Just a couple of weeks ago, we switched a November update into February and a February update into November, and then back again.
Yeah.
And then we moved something from week 2 of a post Halloween thing into week 2 of an even further post. Having the outline helps us have an idea of where we're going to, but we never stay locked to it. We are very flexible.
Absolutely. Totally. Yeah. It's like you want to know what the plan is. You've got an idea, but the plan is, I think it's almost made to shift. And we're trying to always make sure that we're nimble and taking in that feedback as much as we can.
Okay. Will you add more dolls to the game? I gave you
None
my
on the
answer.
docket right now. I don't think we have any that are planned to be rolling out immediately. So we'll keep watching, and we're watching to see what the responses are. I know I've seen a few that are saying, "Hey, we want to see some for Christmas." I've seen Elf flying around a number of times, but no current plans right now on adding more dolls in.
That is joy to my ears. I don't like filming them. Okay,
Well, maybe we should. I'll throw one in there for you, Jesse.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that as soon as I said that. Going back to the map, you talked. Obviously, there's no plans to replace the current map with a brand new one, but are there potential for new permanent buildings to be added?
I would say that the potential is there. So ultimately, I think we're pretty choosy about when we're putting a new building onto the island. We want to make sure that it's going to have a function and that it's worth the space and potential performance concerns, all that sort of stuff before we add something in. So I think for sure we would love to, if something makes sense, we'll definitely put it in there. I think right now in my mind the lighthouse is one that exists for me as an existing building that what I'd like to do is find some use and put something in for that really open that door. There's a door there and I want it to open. So that's I think in my immediate mind is let's find a use for the lighthouse before we start adding any new ones behind it. But we'll see. It'll be the exact opposite. We'll probably end up putting something else in and the lighthouse will stay locked for forever. Who knows? But no immediate plans right now.
This one was quite heavily upvoted by a lot of our players. When is the
Okay.
Adopt Me / Hello Kitty collab happening?
Man, we need it to happen, don't we? I think that I guess maybe I was one of them that upvoted it with everyone else. I definitely would love to see it. There are just so many great houses. I love wandering into one of the Sanrio houses where someone has put it together. They're always like kind of some of my favorites to go into. So I think when we're looking to do a collaboration, we want to make sure that it is something that makes sense for both our players as well as the partners or whoever we're working with. So I would say we're very regularly talking with different brand holders and different initiatives out there. We're always very picky with it as well. We want to make sure that it is something that makes sense for the game, for the community, for everything, that it is the right fit. So keep those suggestions coming forward. I'll say heard loud and clear on the Hello Kitty collab. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll talk with some others here and see if we can't make something happen there. But I'm with all of you on that.
My answer to this one is always: if you want this to happen, go tell Sanrio. We know you.
Hey, I like that too.
Go tell them.
Tell them to make it happen.
We can't do it without them, so let them know that's what you want to see, and then maybe one or the other of us will be able to pick up the phone.
Light the fire on both sides. It'll meet in the middle.
Okay, so a lot of players liked the aesthetic of the butterfly sanctuary and obviously the butterflies within it. Is there any potential to bring that back in the future with new butterflies, maybe even as something like a weather?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of the butterfly sanctuary, so it's not something. I know it's been a hot second since we last had butterfly sanctuary in the game, but it is something I know it's well loved, and that people miss seeing this one. So we'll find an appropriate spot, I think, for it to come back. So I normally don't like committing too hard to it, but butterfly sanctuary is one of those ones that I'm like, yeah, we need it to come back. So it's not forgotten. It's just got to find the right place. We've got a lot of big plans on the horizon, and so we've just got to find the right place for it to fit back into that schedule. So,
yeah, it's not in our 6-month plan because I've seen that, but maybe in the 12-month plan. Who knows what will happen after that?
That's right. That's right.
Some of our players missed the paycheck that used to get every so often that was removed in the jobs update. Are there any plans for that to come back?
So we don't have any plans right now to bring back the paycheck. But we do in the pretty near future have some new ways of earning bucks coming. So not in the same vein as what the paycheck is, and definitely understand where the feeling is for the paycheck and what it accomplished. But we will have some other ways, at least, to be earning a little bit more money inside of Adopt Me that I think will really tie in pretty well to the entire core loop of the game of taking care of your pets and everything else. So we've got more coming soon, at least in that front. So not the paycheck yet. We'll see if there's a way to make that make sense. But our big focus right now is how do we make the core loop of the game feel as great as possible. And so we've got something coming on that front.
We added what players refer to as a mount car. I think the cheetah with the saddle, the rideable, kind of the vehicle pet. Are there any plans to do more with that system?
We haven't talked too much about bringing another one into the game, but I think that I know creating the Giant Cheetah Mount we had a lot of fun on it as a team. I know that animation really ate that up and had a lot of fun bringing a vehicle to life in just kind of a completely new and unique way. And so I think we'll probably look for a way to do another one of these in the future. I don't know what form it will take. Will it be another, giant pet? Will we come up with another vehicle that can kind of be animated in a cool and unique way? But something along those lines, I think it would make sense for us to do another, but we don't have anything that's sitting on the docket right now for it, though.
Yep. Players are getting a little antsy. When will the petware chest rotate again? Some players have already collected them all, and they want more petware. When's that coming?
At least I can answer that. That's coming in November. So you have basically 1 month. What is that? 1 month. I think you've got like about a month left to, if you have not collected everything, about a month left to get it. Or if you want to try to get an extra, legendary hat or anything, grab it now. Because the next one's, we're not far out from it. So yeah, it's coming.
Okay, going back to kind of pet economy, will you ever make pet needs spawn faster?
Well, I guess I kind of alluded to that one before too. So yes, I think I kind of said it a little bit before, but we've got a pretty exciting update that we're ready and anxious to get into the hands of everyone. That I think, if not faster, I think the better description I would say for it would be making that spawn rate more consistent is, I think, what we're looking for. I think one of the most frustrating aspects of Adopt Me, particularly in caring for your pet, is that time where I got that orange need right away in the morning, and then I was really hoping to take care of my pet, and suddenly I'm sitting here waiting and nothing shows up, and it's suddenly nighttime before I get to do another need. And so we've been looking at that problem right there that we think is just, it's just not fun to be wanting to do something and saying, how can we try to make this a little bit better of an experience? So that, I guess, is your teaser to some degree of what we're going to be looking for in an update that'll be here before the end of this year if everything goes according to plan. So it's coming.
Hoping to give players more control.
Definitely. Some more control there. Yep.
Total gear shift here. I'm going to get accusatory now. Why was the treehouse removed from the playground, Brad?
Well,
why did you do that before you joined?
I'm sorry, it wasn't me. I can finally throw it to somebody else. That one definitely did come before my time, thankfully. But I do think that it is one of those things where ultimately trying to find what is used and what makes sense in the map. I think that there are ultimately, we try to put in things all the time into the game where we say, is this something that people are going to enjoy? Is it something that people want to engage with? And there are times where it's just no one really pays attention to it anymore. It just kind of sits there. And we want to try to keep things as clean, streamlined, and makes as much sense as possible. And so there are things, and I would imagine it was probably the case for the treehouse, of just wasn't really being utilized. And there are other ways we can use those resources. Again, everything that we put onto a map takes up space on a device and impacts performance. And so we have to kind of think through each of those aspects and say, what do we want to add and where do we want to give and take from? So
thank you. Any plans to add more jobs or roleplay opportunities?
Not in the immediate future. So I think, we did, what was that? Probably, is that 6 months ago or so at this point? I know we brought in some more jobs into the school and into the hospital and tried to kind of flesh out a lot of the places that the players visit. So we did try to add those pieces in. But we don't have any immediate ones on the horizon right now. I think we're in a pretty good spot where we're happy with the number of places a player can go to choose to interact and do the role-playing aspects. And we're obviously monitoring it. So if we're seeing, a big outcry to say we want more of this, or, as we watch the player numbers that are engaging with those mechanics, how many people are going and becoming the stylist in the salon, how many people are choosing to be the principal in the school, we can use those as kind of guideposts for us to say, hey, we might need to flesh this out further. But right now, no immediate plans for it.
And last one from the general game questions. Any chance the login streak rewards will ever be refreshed? And here they mean not the star rewards, but the actual like daily streak rewards.
Yeah, I think that we had talked a little bit about this, particularly because, we have a lot of new aspects to the game. I think for me, there was an interest of, I almost would like to, on one of those days, maybe get like a sticker pack to flesh out my profile a little bit more. So I think there are some discussions happening about it. Nothing that we have cemented in or anything, but definitely looking at it to say, can we freshen it up a bit, give it a new uh, flavor than what it has had for some time. So, yeah, maybe within this next year here, this is something that we can take a look at and freshen up.
I think it's fair to say that Halloween and Christmas take up most of our oxygen towards the end of the year. So anything we're looking at is very much 2025 at this point, if it isn't already planned.
That's true. Yeah, I think at this point we're already kind of singing Christmas carols and everything here, trying to.
Okay, so our next set of questions is all for the builders. So we've got some building and house questions for you. Number one is, I think, the most popular one when it comes to building. Will we ever increase the item cap limit on things inside the house? So both the overall build limit and things like you're limited to like 20 display stand.
Yeah, I think this is one. So one of our big initiatives at Uplift and on the Adopt Me team has been really to focus on performance on the game and trying to say how can we make sure that this is running as well as possible for all players. Um, it ties into this question because ultimately the furniture capacity and in particular the display limits are really based on what can devices handle. And we don't want someone to be walking around checking out the cool Sanrio house and suddenly crashing when they've walked into your cool place. And so so that is always top of mind with this question. And so the hope is that as we improve performance and make it something that is easier for people to get into, that it starts to create a budget for us to say, yes, maybe now we can increase that display stand up to having 30 in the house or whatever along those way, or we can allow you to have 5,000 pieces of furniture, whatever that is. So it is something that I know, I feel it, we all want this thing, but we do have to make sure that we are cognizant of the large range of devices that everyone plays on, and wanting to make sure that their experience isn't hampered because they walked into just so happened to go join the wrong party when they got the invite, and now they have to log back into the game. So I guess more to come on it. No, it's something that we do want to do. We just have to do it responsibly.
Would you ever consider adding an inventory system to building, like the backpack elsewhere? So rather than selling and rebuying, you could maybe store up items or transfer them between your many houses.
Yeah, we've talked about this idea a number of times. I think that there are some complications behind the thought of having a full-on inventory and storage system that make this a really, I would say, a challenging problem to solve for us. I would say never, but it certainly is one of those more difficult ones, and it would be pretty, at this point, time consuming. And so is really a question of, is that something, number one, that technically we can pull off? And if we can, is it worth the time and effort to make that happen? I think that's where it's sitting internally right now, is just kind of figuring out, yeah, maybe. So never say never, but no plans for it right now.
Housing 2.0 is a phrase that has defeated many an engineer at Uplift Games in the past.
That is true. The Housing 2.0 is a high up initiative for me that I would love to make happen. So many ideas that would exist inside of that, but yeah, it's, as you said, it's a challenging one.
And still on kind of housing and building, have you considered adding even more advanced tools? So like an advanced sizing update. So instead of just scaling, you could select like length, width, or height rather than sizing the whole thing. Basically giving players even more control than they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adopt Me has one of the best building editors on Roblox. I love everything that we have there. I've loved it since before I started working here. I've always enjoyed just how robust it is, and I think what was that? Probably about a year ago, we added all like even more functionality into there that
Mm.
with the multicolor furniture and all of that really I think enhanced it even further. So I think we're always looking for ways to continue to amplify that, to really allow players to make these houses into the the coolest and most surprising things that we've ever seen. I love this idea. I don't know how difficult that is, but it is something that I think is worth us talking about more. So I'll bring that to the team. Just the idea of can we size things up in different aspects rather than just kind of that bigger, smaller would be really cool. So definitely worth more discussion internally on that.
Player asks, can we have more complex display stands? So more like environments, like imagine a reptile tank or an aquarium that you could put your pet inside.
Count me in. I mean,
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome.
I can definitely imagine that, and yes, I am here for it. That sounds amazing. I think yes, we should. I know we've made a couple additional display stand varieties that kind of went more towards kind of some of our more elemental side of things. But I like this. That's a really cool idea. Going with aquarium. I think you might also like some of the things you see with Halloween when it comes out. That's already my brain's like, we might have that kind of already being figured out in a way. So yeah, let's make something happen with that. Love it.
Awesome. Players love the theme furniture packs when we do them, but there's a desire among some of our more kind of aesthetic builders for more generic furniture. So things like plants, ivy, bushes, etc. Will we ever consider doing packs that are kind of exclusively towards that end of things?
Yeah, we totally should. I think we've done a lot of thematic ones. I think in the past year, it's been mostly on that side. I feel like the last more general ones we've done have been kind of around what like the expandable houses had some more of the maybe a little bit more of the generic feel. And but yeah, I think we definitely should pay a little more attention on that aesthetic side. Yeah, we can get this sort of thing into the pipeline. Good call out. Whoever it was that called that out, nice call out. I agree. We should do some more of that.
Would we ever consider adding animated or more interactable furniture items?
Yeah, I think so. I think the toy shop house I think came with some really just imaginative, fun, cool pieces. And this one again starts to lean a little bit into that performance side of wanting to be careful on that end. But I loved kind of how those things just brought to life more inside of the house. It just made for very interesting and fun things to play with. So yeah, I think there's definitely room for more of this. I think that it ultimately is a find the right thing that captures the imagination. It worked really well for the toy shop house because all of it just kind of lent into it. So I think finding the right one, but yeah, I don't see us taking that off the table at all.
Would we ever do a free build option? So, like in other games like The Sims, for players who want to maybe practice building or test ideas without having a big bucks bank?
Yeah, this is one that I think finding the right way to do it it's interesting. We don't have any plans for this right now, but it is something I know my kids have asked me to come up with some way for us to do this because they also are huge into the building side of things and wanted some way to be able to do it. So um, I don't know if there's a spot that makes sense and would fit well for the game and not disturb economies or play sessions and all that stuff well, but I do hear on the side of it would be nice to be able to say, hey, I want to be imaginative and come up with something neat for this. So heard on it, but no immediate plans for what we would do or if this is something we would bring to life.
Players often or feel like there are less furniture updates than maybe other content types in the game. Are there any plans to make furniture updates more frequent or to keep them kind of the same frequency they have right now?
I would say in the immediate future, they're probably about at the same rate that they are right now. But I would say that I think I probably agree with the sentiment that they feel maybe a little too slow, particularly for the amount of community members and everyone that likes to do building. We probably could add, a few more in than what we've done over the past year. Maybe a little bit too slow of cadence. So yeah, I agree. I think that there's probably some space there for us to increase it. So yeah, well called out. Something that we can consider.
And our last one in this category: will we ever be able to trade more than one house at the same time?
um, so probably not. I'm just going to say probably not. There may be a very intuitive way to do this that I'm not thinking of, but where my head is at right now is that ultimately we want to make sure the reason that it is the way it is that we want to make sure that players know exactly what they're buying and what they're getting. I think there are so many ways that a player could get uh, tricked or duped about the house that they are looking to purchase, and we want to make sure that first and foremost you have complete confidence when you're making that trade that everything I see in here, what I see is what I get. And any way around that, I think, can leave that question mark inside of a player's mind. So if we were to have a second house get added into there, somehow affirming that is really challenging. So as of right now, no, probably not. But maybe we'll see. We've got smart people here. Maybe someone figures out a way that that we can do that well. So
A lot of geniuses at Uplift. There's a lot of things that, wow, I've been here nearly 5 years, but like 4 and a bit years ago that I was sat in a call like this or in videos like this going, nope, there's just no way that's going to happen. And we do them regularly now. So
yeah, exactly. It's like I'll sit here and be like, no, and then in a couple, give it 2 years, and all of a sudden, yep, that's all we do. So exactly.
okay, so this is a fun one. We're going to move on to eggs now. We have a few egg questions that I allowed through. And the first one, the biggest one, will there be a new egg? And will you be telling us when the garden egg leaves, or even maybe leak when it will leave?
Well, I mean, the first part of this one's really easy for me. Yes, there will be a new egg. Now, on the side of when, that side I probably can't spoil quite yet. So I would say, yep, eggs definitely still a thing, definitely coming, but I can't spoil when the next one is. That being said, I think that you've seen over this past year, we've been trying to do our best to bring back the pre-release events. So both with the desert egg and with the garden egg, having things to do that kind of teased and brought out, here's what you're going to find inside of the egg. We've seen quite a bit of positive reception around those, and so we want to keep engaging on that side. So I think I can safely say you can count on us doing another pre-launch event. And I think our goal is that we're going to keep trying to step that up and make it even better than the one before it. So hopefully when we do roll out that next egg, it's going to be in a way that you're really excited about, and I think everyone can have fun with.
Following on from that, like, do we have any plans to change how the eggs are formatted? Is it always going to be the same kind of amount of pets? Always going to be in the gumball machine? Any plans to like mess with the format a little?
Yeah, so I think honestly, I think that we have started to kind of play around with that a bit. I think that ultimately, I think the launch of a new egg is always just a thrilling time inside of Adopt Me. I think it is always a blast to kind of see. I think some of my favorite is always just the gathering before on the countdown timer, or going in and waiting for the shop to refresh. All those pieces I think feel great. But I do think that, we are trying to kind of play a little bit with that cadence. I think one of the things that we have heard very clearly from the community is the feeling of there have been a lot of pets coming, and we need a little bit of a slowdown. And so we have tried to, with the eggs, slow that down a bit. I think last year we had something like, what was that, 3 or 4 eggs that I think that released in 2023, versus so far we've only done 2 this year. With the garden egg, we took it down back to kind of the old way of doing it, of back down to 8 pets instead of the 12. So I would say, we're trying to play with it to find what's the right level, and to make sure that we hear everyone on the side of there's just too much. I can't keep up with everything that's coming in. And so we're trying to really just play with those levels, find what is the right amount where everyone kind of is happy. It's a hard tightrope to balance on, but we are trying to find that right balance there. So yeah, I would say do expect us to be playing around with it, trying to figure out where is the right level. I don't think that this is something that we necessarily think we have 100% correct yet, but we're working to find that sweet spot best we can. So
Yeah, I think we've already played a lot with it this year between bringing back the pre-release event for the desert egg, then doing a pre-release event for the garden egg, and doing the merchants, the trades afterwards. Was a new way to think of eggs and to give certain pets in the egg different values. So I think a lot of room for us to keep playing around with that as we go forwards. And I'm going to answer this one that was on here because we gathered questions for the past few weeks. We're definitely not releasing a new egg before Halloween because Halloween is next Friday. Then we update once a week.
I guess you got that one, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm giving you that easy one because I'm about to put you on the spot with the next two.
Oh, geez,
Will there ever be a household egg?
Will there ever be a household egg? Maybe. Here's so I know I actually have a lot of thoughts about the household egg because I know it's a heavily requested egg. Where my mind goes with the household egg, and again, we're all friends here, so I'm just going to let you in on kind of where my brain goes in thinking about this one, is that I think that the household egg is a great idea. I love the thought of what pets could be in it. I think the thing that I've been questioning with it is that the best way to release some of the household pets? Is it best to have this grouping of household pets that went into an egg, and then this egg is out of the game, and all these household pets are now only obtainable through the trade economy? And is there a better way for us to do that so that especially imagine being a new player coming in and saying, I really would love to get my what kind of pet? I'm going to drop we haven't put in a German Shepherd. I'll drop it. I really want to get a German Shepherd, but that pet's out of the game. And so I question if there's a way for us to do that in a way that feels better for everyone involved. That isn't just an egg necessarily. So maybe it takes on that form. I know the pets inside of there, when we really look at it, I know those pets are the things that we really would like to see. So so that's where my brain is right now, is trying to just find out what's the best way to bring all of these kind of really beloved pets that mean something to so many of us into the game.
Very similar question. Will we ever do a space egg? Go on, just say yes.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
Well, let's just say, ever since Sean, I guess, made his return to the game, Cricket seems determined to find a way to follow him. So, we'll see what that means, but there is certainly signs pointing to a certain direction on that. Yeah.
Thomas has been trying to make a space egg happen for years now. We keep putting space in our videos, and one day it's going to work.
That's right.
One quick one. I meant to put this in with the building one because this is in houses. Are there any plans to change the lure anytime soon? Make the Blazing Lion only through trade, and then maybe introduce some new pets or a new kind of bait.
I don't know. Didn't you spoil this already on one of your streams at some point, Jesse?
I never spoil anything.
No. So yes, there is plans for a new lure and cycling out everything that would be inside of there. It is not inside of this year, so I can at least say that. But it's coming. So it's I think Jesse, your spoiler I think was like, hey, sometime this year. There's Jesse saying it was going to be at one point and then now it isn't. I think that might have been the thing you might have been referring to earlier. I can't remember, but yes, the lure will see a change out, and yeah, Blazing Lion at that point will be inside of the trading only. So good luck.
There is still
Get
time.
while you can.
Yeah, this is what to take away from this. You have at least until the end of this year, so. Make sure to remember to set it every 4 hours. I'm not going to say set an alarm for the middle of the night, but I might have done that once or twice in the past.
Mine. I still haven't gotten mine. My wife actually got hers about what was that, 3 weeks ago. Finally pulled it, and I was extremely jealous. So yeah, I'm still waiting on mine to show up. I really just want one.
Okay, we just have a couple of. We'll take this down. A couple of server questions. The big one coming out of this one is a thing I think we tested before. Will Adopt Me ever add the ability to select your server type? So picking like, I want to be in a roleplay server or a trading server.
Yes, you're right. That is something that we did test, and I think that this was just before I joined here, actually. So, what, probably about 2 years ago. So I know that we did test this, and that the team, everyone, I think we all believed that this would be something that was just a straight up great thing for the game. But ended up uh, from the analytics and the response that we saw from it, didn't end up being the right way for the game. And so, um, nevertheless, it is something that we do continue to kind of debate, talk through, think through, because I think, I think all of us feel it where, particularly when you're looking to do big trades and you're trying to figure it out, you're leaving a server, going and saying exclude full servers, try to join into the one that's full, or 47 out of 48, and sitting in a queue line waiting. So I know that that feeling exists there, and there's a lot of friction inside of that. So, there's definitely something that we can do there. We just need to figure out what is the best way to handle that. So we're definitely playing around with ideas of what can we do, but I don't think it will come back in that same form as what we tested earlier, where you walk up to a spot and choose the server you want to go into. I don't think it will take that form. We'll see. Maybe it will. But yeah, no, we're still trying to find the right way to make that happen.
Will we ever add voice chat servers to the game?
No plans right now for any voice chat servers. I think there are certain things that can be alluring about it, but I think there's also a lot that we still would say uh, not right for us right now.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of finding your communities and finding people around you. If you're listening to this right now, we do have some open voice channels in the Discord. If you want to find some people to play with on voice chat, that's the perfect way to do it. And you're in an environment where if someone were to be out of sorts or malicious with you, you'd have people to go to directly in our Discord to kind of look after that and be removed from the community rather than maybe a longer support process. So definitely recommend that over in-game voice chat servers. In a similar vein, would we ever introduce the idea of adult-only servers with age verification? So for older people, maybe people over 18 who just want to play the game together.
Yeah, I think I would probably echo what you just said, Jesse, which is
Yeah.
so no plans for it. I would say that we build Adopt Me to be a game for everyone, and I don't think we would want to create that kind of segregation inside of there. I don't know if I don't think it would really be healthy for the servers to begin with, let alone the many of the other ramifications that come from that. But like you said, I think thankfully between the Discord and the many different community resources that we have, I think that players can find those like-minded groups or like-aged groups in this case to be able to group up and join up to play on a maybe join on a private server or set up an entire private server that is intended for that as probably the methodology for it. So
Nice. We're doing pretty good for time. We're about halfway through the questions, and about halfway through the time we're trying to aim for. This one, we're going to talk about pets and trading now. So this is probably our most questions. We'll maybe try and go a little faster through these, because some of them are quite easy, kind of yes/nos. First up, will we do another type of silk bag again, maybe in Lunar New Year next year?
I think that we'll probably be considering it. I mean, so we haven't gotten into, we said what, 6 months or so. We haven't really gotten into detailed discussions on Lunar New Year quite yet, but we know the silk bags were appreciated. I know that they're pretty valuable even in the game right now, and people like that. So I think that it's probably something that we will be at least looking at. Whether they make it or not, we'll see. But certainly is on the talking block for what we want to do with it.
Players ask, why can't we trade bucks without the silk bags? Some players believe that having that would potentially reduce scams.
Yeah, I know, Jesse. You see this all the time on your side. I'm sure
yeah.
it is. We talk about it a lot. I think that this is something that a very regular conversation of if it's something that would make sense. I think by and large where we arrive is that while I think it will help reduce instances of players trading outside of the trading window, going and putting cash into a cash register. I think that it will ultimately also lead to a number of new ways of being taken advantage of by bad actors. This is one of those things that I think your heart is in the right place, you do it, and then suddenly it opens up a Pandora's box of new problems that you're suddenly dealing with. I think that beyond it, it also has a major impact on things like pet trading, which is, one of the major mechanics inside of the game. I think the barter economy and, finding a player that may say, I'll take that pet, even though it's maybe an underpay. I really want that pet, and if you couple that with another, a smaller one, sure, I'll do this trade. I think those create a lot of interesting interactions and is a lot of what makes the trading economy fun. I think that starts to kind of disappear a little bit, right? When you say,
Mm.
hey, just drop bucks in here and I'm just buying this pet. It just takes away some of that that social interaction and play that I think we all see. And what would happen to our win fair losses if we didn't have people being able to put up different pets inside of there? So yeah, I think for now, still, know that we do talk about it frequently. I don't think this is ever one that we would say is completely off the table, but we've got to make sure that if we ever do it, it's right for the game and the experience.
Yeah. Love this question because this also caught me by surprise. I absolutely love the Glormy Leo and Glormy Hound and how they interact with each other. Is there a possibility for more pets interacting with each other and or matching pets like those? I know some players were suggesting this for maybe like the Bat Dragon variants.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Totally. I love what this interaction is. I love that it seems like everyone just kind of adores that small little thing that is coupled in there. We really do want to bring this to more pets in the future. Find the right places. We don't want to inundate the game with it where all you see is everything just kind of going crazy. But find the right opportunities for it. Yeah, you can expect to see more of this happening. So keep your eye out for it. We'll find the right places for it. I do like that. The Bat Dragon suggestion's a really cute one. So yeah, we'll find some spaces for it.
Awesome. Will we ever redesign the old pets? So not like a complete overhaul, but maybe freshen up some of the models or animations to match our kind of modern standards.
So I think this one's a tricky and complicated question. I think when I think about it, there are a lot of players that some of those imperfections are what make an old pet so special. You look at it and there's just something about it. And so I would say that we don't have any plans to go back and re-hit or make a new version of it that we replace the old version with. I think that ultimately we want to kind of keep those things endearing and let those kind of still be what they are for that time. So I think if we were to upgrade it, I would see this as being more of the thing that we do where we find a relevant version of it that we can make now. And then so if someone's like, yes, I really wanted this upgraded one. I really don't like what the old version of this pet looks like. Thank goodness they made a version that is cuter or has the new animation set. That's something we would be up for doing, but I don't think we would ever go back to hit an old one. We would find the space where it makes sense for if there's one where we can say, yeah, trying to pull one out of my head. An otter and a sea otter, I'm not sure. And we say, yeah, let's make a version of a sea otter that could really work well. Maybe we find a way through that path so that people who do love what the otter looks like are still happy as well.
Have most of the team's favorite animal already been added to the game? And what's yours?
Oh, let's see. I'm sure that many of the favorite animals of the team are in there. I know there are some that are not yet. Where I think I mentioned one earlier.
Cam's
Actually, the
wet
German
owl.
Shepherd. Or Cam, is Cam saying that in chat? Cam's probably saying that in chat right now.
I did no such
Cam,
thing. Jesse brought that up himself.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. You probably did you slip Jesse a 20 to bring up the wet owl again? So yeah, there are a few that are still lingering out there. Wet owl and German Shepherd are ones that immediately do pop to mind. But so there are still ones to come. I would say for the most part, my dream pet when I joined Adopt Me was to go and get the parrot, and I managed to get that one, and I've been super happy there. At this point, it's okay. Now I've got to figure out how to get into to upper tiers without ever trading the parrot, because that's mission accomplished on that one. But I think the other ones that I'd wanted to see were like the armadillo, which we got in for the desert egg, and I absolutely love the execution of watching it roll around like a ball. And then recently seeing the kraken come in. The kraken was another one that I was like, man, I can't believe we don't have a kraken with all the ocean and water things. We should totally have a kraken. So seeing those ones land have been wins in my mind of glad that they got into the game. So
will we do more like normal gold diamond style pet varieties?
yeah, I think so. I think that the golden and diamond pets, I think they make for an exciting chase, I think, for players. So you know, you can have a really beautiful base version that I think you really want to have. I think the hamster, a great example. I love that base hamster, or even the hummingbird. Recently, I love those base versions. But then as you get the chase ones, and no, these ones have just inherent value. They are difficult to obtain and are really cool to show off as a prize and something that you can show off to the world. But I think I would like to keep them pretty sparing inside of the game. I don't want to inundate with too many of those coming in. So a balancing act, I guess, of how
I think
frequently we put them in.
I think they're always really good for new players. Like when you're faced with so many pets, and the idea of the trading economy is brand new to you. You haven't really found your feet. I think it's really nice to have really simple, obvious value shown to you in the game through those materials. And that's maybe why some of our more kind of end game players who don't need that anymore are looking for more uniqueness. But I think if you're a new player, that's the first thing you look at and you go, oh, I want the gold or I want the diamond. So I think, as you say, a good balance between doing things for our, some of our players have been with us 7 years now, but also we're getting new players join literally every day is someone's first time ever playing Adopt Me. So we want to make sure that we hit the balance right for both those kind of players. Will there ever be a Robux market or anything like that? So a place where players can sell their stuff for in-game money or even for Robux?
No plans for that right now. Will there ever? I mean, I guess ever is a long time, but I would say no plans for it right now.
I think not just no plans, but this isn't, like Bucks trading, we have no plans for, but we talk about a lot. This isn't even one that comes up. This is
good point. Yeah, this is not even on not even on like the us conversing about it list. That's good call out there. Yeah.
Will we add more bat dragons, or potentially even reskinning more of the old pets in the future, like new giraffe variants or parrot variants?
So I think that yes, I think we will see more of these. I think that the philosophy that I have behind it, and Jesse, you were just touching on it there, is trying to provide a way for the newer players that come in who are saying, man, I really love that bat dragon, but that bat dragon that's a long way away. I've got a long pathway on my journey in Adopt Me to where I'm going to acquire is bat dragon's what I know it's bouncing right now between number 1 and number 2 as far as the most valuable pet in the game right now. Like to climb that way up to there is a long way away, but wanting to still be able to kind of satisfy that desire to say, well, I really like what the bat dragon looks like. I want to have a taste of that. And I think that by providing those opportunities, it does help players who are newer to at least have a short-term goal. I think it also creates an even more fun from a collector aspect, another fun goal, which is collecting the set of them. Saying I've got the bat dragon, maybe for the extreme collector. I know we've got one of them at Uplift, the extreme collector, where it's like I want the mega version, the neon version, and the base version of all of these, with them being no pots. I want them with flying right. They wanted the entire collection of all of them and every variety of it, and being able to say that that was their version of collecting. So I think it adds some interesting ways to interface with the game as well, that isn't just associated with a new version of it, but rather everything else that comes with it. So yeah, I would say there will be more of them that we do to kind of help satisfy both ends of our player base.
And given what you were talking about kind of preserving value for older pets, this seems unlikely. But would we ever consider bringing back, like, say, the Bat Dragon and being like, you could get a Bat Dragon now in 2025?
Yeah, no, no thoughts on that. I think that a lot of us as we play the game, there's the kind of those two aspects. The one is you're wanting to really make sure that you are caring for and raising and making that pet your own, and then as you're going and playing, you're saying, hey, how can I trade these and enter into kind of that end game trading economy? And I don't think we really want to harm that, and it would be very detrimental if we were to return the old pets. So yeah, we're not talking about it.
Yeah, you would have a fight if you wanted me to sit in front of a camera and tell our players we were doing that. You and I would have a fight first.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you'd be making me go make that announcement myself.
Do we ever plan to introduce more non-egg Bucks pets? I'm thinking things like the Mahi Mahi in the beach shop.
Yeah, I think so. I would like to get some more Bucks pets into the game. I think that we had like the chipmunk and the raccoon. We have the Mahi Mahi out there right now. I think we do need some more of them that are out there for players to get. And that are Bucks pets that are out there for longer term. I know that these won't be things that would be the most collectible pets in the game necessarily, but I think that having more options to just get pets that you want and do so for Bucks is something that would be good. I think that it always comes into that ultimate battle there of if you can just acquire it at any time, what's the value of it? And some players won't like that value, but finding the right mixture of things that it's not necessarily about the value, but maybe the sentimental value or something that matters to someone is where we would try to strike that balance there. So yeah, I would like to see some more Bucks pets coming in.
Would you ever add a feature allowing players to search for specific trades, maybe through an update to the trading stand?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting question. I think part of what makes, I think, the game, the trading game itself interesting is finding that right opportunity. You join onto a server, and while you're on that server, you're saying, that you're trading a pet and someone comes to you and approaches you with an offer, and you're trying to decide, do I want to take that or not? Depending on how we would execute a searching for trade, I would want to make sure that we don't really disrupt that interaction there. I don't think we'd want to make something where it's like I put up a pet and say this is exactly what I'm looking for and people can initiate it. I think that it kind of takes away a little bit of the core interaction and the socialization that you're bartering back and forth trying to figure out what makes the perfect trade for both of us where we both walk away feeling like we won. And so I would want to try to maintain that aspect of it. I could see it maybe coming to life, like you said, with the trading stand, where maybe it's the exact opposite of the current one, where you say looking for, and someone can walk up to that thing and initiate a trade if they have that pet in their inventory, and so it would pop up in there, and the person that it initiated with would add the things that they looked for. I could totally see us finding a way to do that. So yeah.
Talking about pet value, are pet values that people refer to an intrinsic part of the game, or is this something entirely invented by the community?
Ooh, getting philosophical. Yeah, I think I think it's a combination. I really believe that this is a combination of both. I think that from a development side, I think that we kind of I would say almost like set the stage or set the tone for a pet as it enters the game through rarity, price, availability. Is it available for, 6 years? Is it available for 1 week? The look of the pet. I think there are a number of factors that we kind of set the stage for. But I think that it's ultimately the community that decides this.
Mhm.
I think no matter what we do on the side of the development side, it's up to whether the community has a demand for that item. So I think we to some degree can help decide, I guess, maybe the scarcity of of an item, but scarcity means little if the demand is zero, right? You could have one item in the entire game, and if everyone's like, I don't care about the one item, then it has no value. So I think that it is a combination of both that I think ultimately will decide what the value of something is. But I ultimately, the end of it all, I think it is controlled by the community. The community decides what that value is.
Would we ever add something to remove a potion on a pet? As we're starting to see with some older pets, it's almost more rare to have them without a potion than with a potion.
Tough one. I would say we don't have any plans of doing it right now. I think that it is I would be afraid for the trading economy and the value if we didn't approach that correctly. So, gosh,
My
if you
feeling on
just
this
said,
one
"Hey,"
is the
yeah,
second we did this, it would totally flip that and it would become pointless again to have within like a week.
absolutely. And I think to me the key point there is again thinking through the player experience and how not
Mm,
to not harm that would be. There are many players, I think, right now that would trade significantly more for the no pot Shadow Dragon. Um,
right.
we would not want to hurt that. Now, maybe there's some way that I'm not thinking of that you could make this all possible, but I think that we wouldn't want to have that person that just was like, oh well, I gave up a good portion of my inventory value to acquire that, and suddenly like, sorry. So yeah, I would say no plans right now, and I don't know if or when we would even start thinking about that. So I'll just say
We're
no.
we're happy to set the stage and think of the scale as we do things, but I don't think we want to try and as much as possible avoid leaning on the scale and doing anything that really shifts it drastically in that kind of way.
Yeah, and it
Um,
does come back again to the kind of the question before, right? Where community ultimately determines value on those things. And there are many pets out there that they are more valuable because they are flying and riding, and they're just, over time the market becomes scarcer, and it makes sense why that price can flip. But it can be a long time before that journey hits the point where
yep.
people want to see that. So
There are also just some pets out there that our community values way higher than I think they should be. And you can hear me complain about that in the Discord if you hang around long enough and keep asking me about values. Okay, talking about rare pets, will we add another pet as rare or like as hard to get, I guess, as the Blazing Lion?
yeah,
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 we're gonna have
yeah,
another one of those in the next lore.
we definitely will. Yeah, so no question about it. There will be one that is going to be that level of scarcity again. Yeah,
I
it's
think,
coming.
yeah, for me, the Blazing Lion is one of my favorite pets we've added. The fact that
Me
it
too.
is so rare has made it so fun. I can remember because we do the live streams quite a lot ourselves. The first time someone showed up in a live stream with a neon Blazing Lion was a
Yes,
genuine like, stop the update moment, don't care, let me look at this and talk about this. And I love the fact that we've got that feeling in the game with a pet we released, in the last 2 years.
yes, yeah. It has that feeling, like it has that wow factor that you just look and say, "Whoa, how did they do that?" Yeah, we want to create more of those moments, and I think it is a. I'll also throw in that I think it's a great equalizer for newer players who are saying, "Hey, if you just happen to open that lure one day and say, oh, I all of a sudden have the golden ticket into the economy," or you're saying, I love this thing, if I got it, I would not be trading my Blazing Lion. I love what that thing looks like way too much. I would probably start my journey to figure out how I get that to neon, though, because that neon is perfection. Love it.
Talking about how good that neon is, have we ever considered the idea of like letting players customize their neons or megas rather than having a set one?
Uh, I think that beyond what we have in the salon right now, I think we're pretty happy with kind of what the salon gives you for customizability at this point. Um, it is something that I think I have interest in. Are there other things that we could do or other ways and pathways that we could go beyond just neon? But no real plans yet. I think that that's something that I would say if I can put some time and thought into it in the next year, is where my head would be at, just because I think there are some cool aspects and things that we could be trying to do on that front. But finding the right way to do it is the trick. So.
Are there any plans to introduce more interactions for the pets or more interactive features?
Yes, that is something that I think goes back to the thing we were alluding to right back at the start. So it's on its way. I would say that, it's probably not new, necessarily new interactions that are like a new trick, for example. But we do, one of our big pushes right now, and it's something that we are very focused on, is how to make sure that interaction and play between you and your pet is something that just is brought to life, and we want to really emphasize that as much as we can. So, this is a game about adopting pets and playing with them and interacting with them. A lot of the questions we've been asking internally have been around that realm of how can we make that feel as good as we can, and what can we be doing to play that up. So yeah, it's coming, and more will probably come after that, because we've got a lot of ideas of what we want to do there.
I need to grab a drink. I finished my last one, so I'm going to ask you a question that I know has a long answer. So we've received a lot of questions about adding specific pets. Will you add this? Will you add this? We don't have time to go through them all. We would literally be here until tomorrow. Can you talk us through how we decide what pets will go in the game? Like, how do you make that choice?
Great question. You go get your drink. All right. So yeah, I think there are a ton of factors that go into which pet are we going to actually bring into the game. I would say that the biggest one is honestly the community. We spend, as I've already said, we spend a lot of time looking through the feedback center and the starboards, going on, through Instagram, YouTube, all the social channels, trying to see what exactly are people looking for. What's the thing that we should be trying to deliver on? Because ultimately, this is a game for everyone here. It's not necessarily about what do I want to see in the game. I know someone asked earlier, what's the pet I want to see. I've gotten a couple of them in, but really it's delivering what matters to the community. So I would say our first and foremost is that. Beyond that, I think we look at what kind of events do we want to be doing. What are the things that are going to be exciting and fun in the game, and those take on a ton of different forms. So last year with Lunar New Year, this year with Lunar New Year, we were saying how do we make this something that is a chance for us to learn more about a different culture and to bring in some of those aspects into the game. And so that kind of helped shape the types of pets we wanted to bring in from that. So, I think between what's the community looking for, what kind of events do we have, what type of pet have we not seen a whole lot of, in the game, we're really factoring in all of those pieces to try to find what's right. And I think we've even seen times where we say, we want to have this pet come into the game. Is there an event that we can base around that to bring it in? And so all of those factors are really at play all the time to really bring all of them to life and give people what they're looking for. So.
Okay, so that's us done with pets and trading, at least for now. We're going to ask you a few questions about events. And the first one, I'm sure you've heard this question many times when you're reading through community feedback. How do you decide how often we get a 2x weekend? And also, can we have them more, please?
Yep. Okay. Yes. 2x, loud and clear all the time. I know the 2x's are well loved, appreciated. I love them too. No joke. So just like all of you, I play the game very consistently, and when a 2x weekend is on, I unhealthily play the game. Probably I will be on for probably 8 hours a day. It's really bad. So I play way too much in those instances as well, and love them. How do we decide them? I think we are constantly paying attention to the economy in the game and seeing, where is the economy sitting? Is there a spot where we can feel that players are at this point as a whole, so not as the individual, but as a whole, it needs an influx, and we need to kind of liven up the economy, as well as just player sentiment in general. Was it? I want to say it was the Capuchin Fairground. Was it Capuchin Fairground where it was like, oh, we definitely need to inject some funds in. Everyone, we all felt it. I can't remember what followed up right before it, but we went kind of like a 1-2 of feeling like we had to spend, and we were all feeling it where it was like, I don't have money to participate. And so there will be instances that were, I think, more extreme like that, where we say we've got to get something out there, and then others where we say, it's Memorial Day weekend in the US, let's put a 2x there so that people can spend the weekend that they have off with no school on Monday playing and doing it. So we try to look at places where we can have the greatest impact on it and choose those as our kind of our guiding light, I think, typically. And then we throw in a few for good measure along the way. So
are you planning to bring back the pass mechanic for future events that we introduced summer this year, and then obviously the Glorpentine Galaxy Pass?
Yes, so we are planning it. Don't get too scared right away. I know we definitely heard everyone's had enough of passes for a while, so it's not coming. There will be no pass for Halloween. Okay, you can rest assured you're not going to have to deal on that end. I think that by and large, I think passes have really been taken on well. I know there's a little bit of debate back and forth of whether they've been liked or not, but I think by and large we've seen a pretty positive response to the passes. I think we went overboard. We definitely put in a few
Well,
too many.
I think we wanted to do a bunch of different versions of them to see what really landed
Yes.
and see what works. It was new. We wanted to test it a bunch while we had the time. So we didn't do something like put a version of a pass into Halloween that everyone hated, and then you feel like it's ruined Halloween, right? So it was like, let's do the testing when we've
sure.
got the time, and then we can take a little break from them and bring them back in their best version when everyone's ready for one again.
Absolutely. I think, passes, I think the exciting thing is that they really offer up some predictability, right? Like you can look at it and kind of almost determine your play based around it. Like, how do I want to engage with this event in order to get wherever I want to get on a pass? And you can kind of plan your own schedule around it in a way that I don't think you necessarily get from eggs and even other pieces of the events. And so I think it has a really special place. And I think we've seen it in its various forms be effective in that. I think at this point now, it's taking that feedback and that information we've received and find the way that that really fits inside of each event as we need. So consider it a tool in the tool belt that we'll pull out, and we'll hopefully bring it at times where people are excited to see it and are happy to have it inside of the game. So but
Are
it
we
won't be
planning?
Halloween.
Players will love to hear that. I haven't told them that because I didn't want to confirm anything in case you
Yeah,
change
I
your
guess
mind. But we're safe
surprise.
now.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This one comes up a lot because I think we did one last September, or maybe a bit later. Are we planning another live event this year? Like the Sky Castle falling like we did last year.
I think that we would like to try to get one in. This one's a matter of time, and we're trying to do a lot of big things, and we're trying to get a lot of things done. And so it really will be a question of time if we can sneak one in. I would say if we get one in, it might be a little bit smaller. It's probably not on the same scale as the Sky Castle falling, but we would like to try to get one in if we can. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. I'll be as surprised as everyone else if we get it. So
will we ever bring back kind of like the interactive or story games, things like Frostclaw's Fury?
I think Frostclaw's Fury went over very well. I think we saw just a ton of engagement with it. It was also a ton of work to make it and to get it as fun and cool as it was. I would love to get another story game, whether it could continue the story of Thistlebeard or Cutie Cotton Caleb, or if it takes on a new form. I really would like to do another one. We don't have anything on a horizon, so you're just kind of hearing my desire. I would love to see another one show up, and I would say if that is something that as a community you're thinking that you would want to see more of, let us know. Again, they are a pretty big undertaking for us to make those pieces. They take several months to get right, but it is something where you're like, yeah, that I loved what that was. Let us know. It helps kind of push us in one direction or another. I know for me personally, I would love to do another. So
Yeah, last year we started work on Frostclaw's Fury in August to have it release in December. That's like, I think the longest we've ever worked on a content update rather than like a big systems update.
Yes. Yeah, it
there's
was a
a
big
lot of
undertaking. And I
work.
think it was cool, but it's definitely a lot.
It's not something we can do a lot of. So we want to make sure
Right.
it's really impactful when we do it.
Yes.
Speaking of Frostclaw, another, I'm going to get accusing again. Why didn't we get Frostclaw as a pet last year? Hey?
Man, hitting it like that wound is still fresh, Jesse. I still feel it. Yeah. Yeah, we saw it. We saw the ask, and quite honestly, we did not anticipate it at all. I think that this was one of those cases where we looked and like, yeah, Frostclaw is a cool villain character that we've put into the game, a nice antagonist that we've dropped into here. And then we saw the outcry of it being a pet, and I think if our secondary stab is everyone looking at the Christmas future egg and predicting that it was going to be Frostclaw and knowing that it wasn't was one of those just, oh no. I think we were all sitting there trying to say, what do we do? And it was one of those pieces of we can't jam this thing out.
tried. We've
we tried.
genuinely tried. Like, it almost
Oh,
happened, and it just did not
we
work.
made that push. Yep. So we made that push, and I feel it. One of those ones that you regret even when we're almost a year later, and I still feel it's as fresh as yesterday. Of oops. So apologies, community, for the. I know that was a miss on our side, and oops.
We'll try not to do
try
anything like
do
that
better
again,
the
but
next
we will
time
at some
through.
point. We're not perfect.
Yeah, so we try to get it right when we can, and that was definitely one where we missed.
What are your feelings on like Easter versus Springfest? Obviously, we did Springfest, then we went back to Easter. Are you thinking more in line with a bigger Springfest next year, or that more contained 2-week Easter?
I don't know. I don't know on this one. I know that. So this year, I was very much with the mindset of we should, let's keep it a little bit smaller. We've got a lot of big things coming up. We had like the Fossil Isle, I think that was following up shortly behind Easter and everything. So we knew we had these, and Garden Egg, I think, was right behind there too. We had all these big pieces planned. We said, let's keep this one a little bit more contained and did the 2-week Easter event. But I know that there was a lot of outcry of, hey, we wanted to see a full-on Spring Fest. And so I'm not sure. I would say I'm kind of looking to everyone here to kind of let me know what way does everyone want to see it. Not that we'll necessarily end up in that direction. We've got a lot of big things that we want to do in this next year. I think that as we've been testing and playing around with different updates and things this year, that we just want to keep pushing. We want to keep making things better and surprising and delighting in a bunch of different ways. But if Springfest is one of those ones that you're like, yeah, I want to see it, then let us know. You certainly have the ability right now to be swaying all those decisions. So, because I've not landed on one way or the other with that right now.
A final one on this, thinking about kind of events and things coming to the game. Obviously, we did some testing and players saw the AFK area. Lots of questions. Will that come back? Will it become a permanent in-game thing, or did that kind of falter out at the testing phase?
Yeah, I think with what we saw from testing, it will not come out in that form. I don't think that this is the end of what we want to explore with things like the AFK zone. But it is something that I will say with what we got out of that test, and we let that test run pretty long from a testing standpoint. We normally don't let tests run that long, but we wanted to watch that from a long term. What's the effect of something like that in the game? And we got our input back, and we could see kind of what it did, and that form wasn't what we would want to push this out as. And so I think there are probably more considerations that we'll look at in the future. But it's kind of a little bit back to that drawing board side of things to say, is there another way that we could bring this to life and execute in a better way? So.
Awesome. Well, we're coming up to the end of the time that I want
I was a little kid, like when I was in second grade, I was like, I want to make video games. That's what I wanted to do. Like, and going through school, it was all to get into a good college, so I could get, do well in college, so I could get a good job and find some way into this industry. And I was able to do it and navigate my way into here. And then, even for that, one of my bucket list items was I want to work on a game that I can, make that my kids are playing. And my kids and I, we loved Adopt Me for years, and so the moment that I was able to find a way in to get to this, it has been the absolute dream job for me, and so that helps with that pressure. But I would say the pressure is always high. I want to, and I want it to be high. I want to ultimately make sure that we're doing right for everyone here. That both the staff that we get to work with, as well as the entire community that the game is being made for, that we're getting it right. It's why something like when you see the thing of we wanted Frostclaw as the pet, and you're like, oh no, I want to give you exactly what that is. Those things, like they stay with you because you want that to be the experience. You want everyone to say, man, the 2023 Christmas event was the best ever because they had this cool story game and we all got Frostclaw from it. Like, that's the emotion that I'm hoping with everything that we do, that people are taking away. And so, yeah, the pressure is always high because I think we all at Uplift want to be delivering exactly that piece to the player base, and for all of you to feel that thrill every time you play the game. So yeah, it is the dream job, and the pressure is always high, but it's for the right reasons.
I'll say everyone feels that. Like, one of the things I love so much about where we work is how everyone comes together on small things, on big things. When we feel player desire and we feel like we can deliver it, nothing stops it. Like, we get in it. Even just last week, where we had the multicolor bug, and it was like, oh, okay, well, it's coming up on the weekend and everyone's busy, and we're gonna look at it. We'll look at it on Monday. Like, we'll give everyone the weekend off. Like, yeah, it kind of sucks the players, but we'll get there. And then one of our engineers is just like, no, I've found the time in my evening to fix it. I got out of bed to test it because we just dragged anyone who was awake and around and free was like, get in, let's get this out. So yeah, the feeling is really there across the whole team of like, we want to deliver the best game possible, and we're kind of ready to do anything we can to do that.
It's the core, I think, for everyone that works here. It is the core of it all, right? We want to make sure that we're doing right by everyone, that we're making a product that we all are excited to play with every day. And so, and again, I think we're players too. We're inside of there. Like, we don't. I mean, outside of Cam over there, who's got his admin account decked out in all of the flying bat dragon animated stickers. Outside of that, we're all inside of there as players, enjoying the game, climbing our ways up through the different tiers of value and everything else. And it is just such a, I think it's core for all of us. We're really driven to try to make this the best thing we possibly can for everyone.
Outside of Adopt Me, are there any other fandoms that you're personally part of? Things like Minecraft or maybe Dungeons and Dragons? And is there ever any desire to pull that fandom into Adopt Me, or things you've learned from it anyway?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can see one fandom that sits behind me. I'm a gigantic pinball nerd. I love pinball, going doing tournaments, all that sort of stuff. So, is there a way to pull that into Adopt Me? I don't know. We could probably make a pinball mini game just to satisfy my own thoughts. But no, I think for sure. I think when we go and look at all the games out there, I think there are just so many different things that gamer at heart, and so I'm involved in a ton of different communities. I had a long time back when I was better at games, where I was definitely playing a ton of the first-person shooters and that sort of stuff, but probably wouldn't bring that stuff into Adopt Me. I think there's the finding the right fit, as we talked about earlier, where does it make sense to bring that fandom in. I think where it makes sense, we're always open to that. It's finding the right one on both sides. I think for the most part, I would say the fandoms that I'm in, they're probably going to be kept separated. They don't really match up, but that isn't to say that the community doesn't have those ones that really do. As brought up earlier, the Sanrio one, where it's like, there's some that really could sing well when they're mixed and matched. So.
Do you know what a glitch build is in Adopt Me? And if you do, what's your opinion on them?
I love glitch builds. I know it's
that's so
I know it's
cool.
a bug, but come on, like they are like literal. I walk into almost like when I load into the game, I will just spend time walking into houses just because I'm looking for what cool, crazy, unexpected thing has someone come up with. So yeah, I love them, and I love the freedom that it enables everyone to do.
Yeah, I'm glad that we added things like the sandbox island and the mountain home for people who don't know how to glitch build, you know, to be able to get that same experience. But yeah,
Yep.
never mad to see a glitch build. And I think some of the things people do with them, Alisla's Mr. Moo in our Discord has done some wild things with the idea of glitch building beyond just like clipping out of bounds. That blow my mind. Like,
Yes.
some of the people out
is that
there
the one-
are wild.
Is that the one with like the plinko thing where you drop down? Someone
Yeah,
made one where-
yeah.
yeah. Geez, like there were just so many creative, like just mind blowing things, and those are the things like that just get you excited and get you up. Where you're like, okay, what's next? What is time? So yeah, absolutely love it.
Have you ever considered like an old school RuneScape style community voting system, so where players get to decide what updates come to the game?
Yeah, I love the way that RuneScape has run that. I think that it's a really great way that they've found to interface with the community and kind of help steer that ship. I think for us, particularly being on Roblox, this is a fast platform, and you've got to be nimble and really quick with what your decisions are and the changes that you're making. I think because of that, I don't think that sort of format fits for us necessarily. But we're always like trying to say, okay, we've got the next few things lined up and we've got to keep rolling. And then at the same time, Helen will be jumping in all the time with here's feedback that we're getting and providing us with all of the information possible from the community to help guide those decisions. And we're often reacting in real time to try to figure out, okay, what else do we need to do to tweak this to kind of hit? And so I think for us, it doesn't fit super well on our side, but I think we've got just a very plugged in group of people at Uplift that are constantly listening and trying to incorporate those the aspects that people are looking for. So far, I think it's working okay. I like how we've got it set up.
Talking about the kind of pace of updates, have we ever considered moving away from weekly onto maybe once every other week?
Yeah, I think we for sure talk about it. The weekly update cadence is something that it's demanding. The team has to always be on top of their game, and so we talk about it from time to time. So far, we feel like this is the best cadence that we can do. We want to make sure that we're giving everything we can, and that how much it matters to us to be providing everyone who plays the game with something new and fun and engaging to try out week after week. And so for us right now, that's kind of where we like to be. I know that there is an outcry of from time to time of, hey, let's slow down the updates, but I think some of those come from a different heart of not necessarily slowing down the cadence of those updates, but I think in some of those interpretations it is, hey, I don't have time to raise my pet, for instance, and I want to find new ways to raise those or to have the time to take care of those pets. And so we like to dig into exactly where that sentiment is coming from and understanding that and really try to find that right balance across the board. But I'd say right now, our plan is sticking with those weekly updates for the time being.
Yep. I'm going to skip ahead. There was a question that I thought was really interesting. It's like, how do you kind of decide when to do big updates versus small updates? How do you get that balance right?
I think it is. We talked earlier a little bit about trying to find where is that sweet spot. To be honest, I don't know if we have that balance right now. I think that we're trying to constantly play around with it a little bit. I think ultimately it's similar to what I think we're all discussing right now, which is what's the right amount of time for me to be able to engage with the content that's there, have the right amount of downtime to where I can, kind of just play and engage with the stuff that I've gotten through the large update, and then I'm ready for another big thing to hit me again. We're definitely playing with those levers, trying to figure out where is the right amount. And so I think you see it in real time. You see where our heads are going and what we're trying to use, and we're obviously very much. I know I've said this so many times, but we are watching what's the reaction from the community and using that to help gauge that and find that right lever. But we also are using obviously a lot of metrics and things behind the scenes to see, as a whole, as a game and a community as a whole, where are we finding engagement, in what systems, in what hours of the day, all those things. How are people playing with what is out there, and using that to at least inform our decision making process.
So we talked about how feedback gets back to you, and we often aggregate player responses, but on a more one-to-one basis, would it ever be possible for like a fan design to make it in the game? So someone we don't just get an idea of like, oh, can I have a German Shepherd in the game, but like some of our maybe our creators out there who are doing these 2D designs or even 3D model designs. Is there ever any way that could translate into an in-game pet?
Right now, no, but it is something I would say I really, really want to make happen. And Jesse, you and I have talked about it a few times. It's something that we really would like to see, is come up with some way that we can make this into a possibility, because so many people have just such creative and outstanding ideas, and we see the fandom that kind of comes up with it, where people are saying, yeah, I want that in the game too, and it's just almost like a group forms around it, right, of saying this is such great work. I've seen people come up with just amazing eggs, for instance, where they've come up with all the pets that could be in there and designs for all those things, and I'm like, oh, it would be great if we had some way to be able to allow that to make its way somehow over into the game. So we don't have any way to do it right now. There's no way to bring that through, but it is something that I would love to see happen personally. So
same. Okay, I'm going to give you one last hard one, and then I'm going to give you a couple of easy ones to close us out. So the hard one is, how do you balance monetization? Obviously, players are always saying, some players out there we know are like, we want more Robux pets because we've got all this Robux to spend. There are some players are more kind of towards the free-to-play end who are like, oh, I can't afford the pet this week, and I'm upset about that. How do you balance all that? How do you make that work?
yeah, it's hard. There's no way around it. It's really difficult, because they are very polarizing ends of the spectrum, and you're trying to make sure that ultimately that you're making a game that everyone enjoys. I think we're very fortunate that we have trading in the game that makes it's almost like the great equalizer inside of the game, that and I think Robux in a sense provides a way to create a more exclusive. We talked earlier about value, something that has more value and that becomes more desirable as long as the community determines that it does. And so it's great that we have this spot where everyone can participate with any type of pet that lands inside of the game. There's an avenue to acquire that. And I think that's very cool. It's very special, and it makes some of those pets special as well. It makes it an accomplishment for if you're playing free to play and you get the chocolate chip bat dragon from 2023. It's an accomplishment. You said, yes, I found a way to do that, and I achieved a goal. So I think there are great aspects to that. I would say, on a whole, when we're trying to balance it, I think we typically try to say, as a business, we obviously need some of this to go on, so we're able to keep going, which is a good thing. But we also want to make sure that we're balancing that on the free to play side, that we find ways for to have engaging content that come out with it, that players can play. Even if you don't have Robux to spend, there's something else cool that came into the game that you get to engage with that week. And so we try best we can to keep it all as balanced as we can. I think we're always approaching it from a mentality of, what do each of these different player bases, player segments, what are they getting out of it that makes this week worth checking out for? And that really is I think at the core of it is, make sure that everyone's got a reason to log in this week, and we can put that question at the forefront.
Thank you. Right, let's give you a couple of easy ones before we do our big Halloween reveal.
All right.
When do you plan to stop updating Adopt Me?
Geez, when do I plan on it? Never.
Yeah,
I think
same. As long as
let's
people
let
are
it-
playing
let's-
it, I
let's
want to
let
still
forever.
be here.
Yeah, I'm down, man. Like, let's let this thing just go and go. I like, as long as everyone will have us, I think we will continue to update the game and put it out there. We you know, like I said, I have always been I've been a player for years at this point. I love everything it is. I'll do everything I can to keep being here as long as the lights will stay on. So let's do it.
Yeah, I literally said to Matt earlier today, I was like, I want to get to the point with Adopt Me that people who are playing now are still playing with their kids 20 years from now.
Yeah. That right there. Let's do that. Let's make this a thing that just goes on. And man, you sure will be happy that you got that Kraken last week. 20 years from now, he'll be like.
And then, the last question I'm going to ask you, and really this is open to the team, so if other people on this stage feel free to chime in. We talked about it a little bit, but what's your favourite part of working on Adopt Me?
I don't know. Let's let Stage go. I've been talking the entire time. We'll throw Helen in. Helen, you go.
Specifically with Adopt Me or with Uplift as a company?
I think Adopt Me. Like, what's the best part of working on Adopt Me itself?
I love working. I know that my job role is community manager, but I love working with the Adopt Me community. They are brilliant at giving us the information. Like, they're not shy, that's for sure. And they let us know what they want, but they're not mean about it. So working with them and trying to get them the things that we know they would like in the game has been an absolute joy to do. And it helps that we've got a team that are open to those suggestions.
My favourite part of working on Adopt Me is giving myself all the pets. Yeah!
Oh yeah. I thought that was gonna be Cam's answer over there. He stole it.
I love seeing the pets come to life. I've always been a big animal lover ever since I was little. So being able to see, both real animals and animals that we design, or maybe like mythical creatures come to life in our game is probably my favorite part.
I would say for me, my favorite part has been, I said it earlier, I think, is being able to work on a game that I play with my entire family. I can't underplay how magical that has been. It has just been amazing to go from being the player to being able to work on this, and after work's done, I get to go upstairs and I get to I swim in the ocean and collect the coins and do that with my family, and shout out, there's the the Kraken chest is up right above the boat. Like, that is it can't be beaten. So for me, I've just absolutely loved that side. And I will echo, Helen, with what you said earlier. This community is second to none. I have worked on a number of games over the years and have dealt with all sorts of communities, toxic communities. This community is just fantastic. How welcoming it is for new players that come in, how kind it is from a development standpoint, to see suggestions come in, and it's not an attack or coming after you and being angry, but rather these are things we want to see and suggestions that we have. And I've got this group that loves this. This has been such a refreshing community to be a part of, and I love being able to say that I work on this game with these players. So thank you to all of you for being awesome too.
Yeah, they really are amazing. I've been here almost half a decade now, and it's the most fun I've ever had. Well,
Just
thank
genuine
you.
fun.
Thank you, everyone on this stage. Thank you so much, Brad, for doing live face reveal, appearing in front of the community for the first time. This has been a blast. I've had a great time talking about Adopt Me and maybe getting to talk a bit more on things that we didn't necessarily plan to announce tonight. So Can't wait for the news accounts to pick those up.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'll be watching YouTube with all the different videos that'll pop up out of things that I probably said that I shouldn't have.
Before we go, we are going to reveal our first Halloween legendary. I have a video that is going to play where my webcam is. If you want to make it bigger on Discord, click my camera now to make it take up the whole thing. You are going to see it for the first time. What do we want to do, Brad? I think maybe I'll play the video, and then as it's circling at the end, maybe you can reveal its name and rarity?
Yeah, that sounds good. I guess this will be my first time actually getting to see your video, Jesse, so I'm like excited myself.
Yeah, I made
it big
this
on my screen.
while we were setting up this call, so hopefully it's good and works. Let's give it a go. Hopefully this goes well. If it doesn't, we'll post half the video on Twitter on Tuesday anyway. And I don't think there's any sound with this because of how my setup is. So for full sound, follow us on social media.
All right. So yes, you are seeing the Grim Dragon. And so this is the legendary pet that will be coming out for Halloween this year. It is, to me, one of the coolest pets that we have put into the game. The the tattered cloth coming from the wings. It is so excited. I think this is just very anxious to get this one out because it is that cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. Also, I didn't realize Matt was going to be here. The first half of this is Matt's social video for the Grim Dragon that I stole 15 minutes before we came on here.
Surprise!
It'll have I cannot wait for Halloween. It's next Friday.
I know
cannot
it's
come soon
here.
enough.
I cannot wait. Everyone's already running around to the game dressed in like the Halloween garb and everything, and I'm like, I need to get I've already updated my avatar in game to be all Halloween ready. And all the houses are popping up in the neighborhood, so everyone's ready. We're here for it. Halloween is finally here, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting one this year. So
I am saying,
thrilled.
for our sentiment, I've been looking through it, and every update we've had for 3 weeks is it Halloween? Is it Halloween yet? Oh yeah, Halloween yet? Is it Halloween yet? We're not even in October yet. Chill. It's coming.
We'll be like the department stores soon. Starting Halloween in July, everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, I cannot wait. If you want to see more, really, now is the time. Follow us at player.me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want. YouTube, that's the one that was mine to begin with. But yeah, Matt has been killing it. The videos I've watched that Matt's made this week are... I think I told him today that they are the best he's ever made. So, and not just the best Matt's ever made, the best videos we have ever made for Adopt Me. This is so exciting. So follow us. We've got some teasers going out over the weekend. We've got weekly news on Monday. We've got a minigame trailer coming on Tuesday. We've got the full update trailer coming on Wednesday. And then obviously Friday, the update comes out. It's Halloween. So we are on the road to it. Brad, I have kept you longer than I tried to. Thank you so much again for being here. I'm going to release you now to hang out with your family and start your weekend.
So, well, thank you. Thanks, Jesse, and Helen for organizing all of this, and really appreciate having the chance to talk with everyone here today. Keep all that feedback coming. Again, if you didn't hear it enough, we look at all of it. It is factored into everything. So thank you, everyone, for letting me be a part of this community and go on this journey with all of you. So it's been great.
Amazing. And thank you everyone here who's turned out to watch this, everyone who is just in the Discord. It makes it such a fun place to be. I regularly, outside of work, just hang out in the Discord and talk to people in the general channels because it's fun. It's nice to talk about the game we work on, and I think you can tell from how long we've run on tonight. We just love talking about Adopt Me. Right, I am going to leave this call. We're going to end this stage. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekends. Go get the new UGC pet. Enjoy the quality of life changes. Build some bucks before Halloween takes all your time and all you're doing is earning candy corn for 4 weeks. And then we'll see you again with weekly news on Monday.
Thanks,
See
everyone.
you later, everyone.